There was a story that came out in USA Today about how Rachel Levine was named Woman of the Year, and Rachel Levine is this transgender health admiral in the Bible. It's a male person with a wig on, or I don't know, maybe just his own long hair. I don't know, but you've got this absurd story you see, and it feels like satire. It feels like it's straight out of a South Park episode, but it's real. This is in FoxNews.com reporting this, and you look at that and you're like, well, first of all, how do you satirize that? And then we couldn't. Satire relies so much on caricature, kind of drawing out and exaggerating something that's true. You take it a step further. You can't do that with a story like that. There's no way to make it more absurd than it is.
Reality is more absurd than the Babylon Bee.
Exactly. Like, nobody would have believed you 30 years ago if you told them that a Woman of the Year was going to be a man. They wouldn't have even been able to comprehend, what are you talking about? Why would anyone ever do that? And why would anyone take it seriously? Well, we do take it seriously because it's become so normal now that we see these things. But we decided, like, we can't really exaggerate this. So the headline that we came up with as our joke on the back of this ridiculous, headline was, the Babylon Bee's Man of the Year is Rachel Levine. So we named Rachel Levine our pick for Man of the Year. And of course, that's provocative, and it's according to the standards of Twitter at the time, not any longer, thankfully. But at the time, it was considered misgendering, which falls under the hateful conduct policy. Which is so ridiculous. The USA Today piece misgendered by calling, a man a woman. But by telling that joke, we had an internal debate. Like, do we tell this joke? Should we put this joke out there? Because if we do, then we might end up getting censored. We might end up getting completely deplatformed.
So you knew it might cause some trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, anytime you do that, we knew what the rules were, and we knew that we were violating a rule when we posted it. And we're like, this is really important that there be these kinds of stands that you're willing to take where you say, look, we're not going to play by these rules. And because if everybody just plays by the rules win, and the bad ideology wins, and then the culture loses. Yeah. And so at some point there has to be a large number of people. It's got to start somewhere. Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to be willing to say, no, we're going to post this even if it means there's a consequence, and then we'll deal with that when it comes. And so we hit send tweet and threw it out there, and of course that's when we ended up getting locked, because it was immediately reported by a lot of the trans activists and whoever else got hold of it and reported it for hateful conduct. So we got this message saying that we were locked out of our account and we needed to delete that tweet. But it was only like 2 days after that happened that when we were locked out initially, that we got a message from Elon Musk. He DM'd us and he was like, "Are you guys locked out of Twitter? Is that true? Are you suspended?" And we couldn't respond to him because we were locked out. Like, we could read the message, but we couldn't reply. You can't post a reply.
I can't even imagine.
So we're like, we need to get in touch with Elon Musk, and I don't know how to do that. So we didn't respond to his message because we couldn't. And then he found our number, dug it up from somebody, and called and had a conversation with us about it.
What is it like getting a phone call from Elon Musk?
Well, first you question whether it's real.
Yeah, did you think it was a prank?
Yeah, is this really Elon? You sound like Elon Musk. Are you really? How do you test him to determine whether or not it's really Elon Musk on the other end of the line? But yeah, he was just he couldn't believe it. He's like, comedy should be legal. You should be able to tell jokes like this. It's not that he necessarily agreed with the joke and thought that it was a good joke. It was the principle of the matter, that we should be allowed to tell the joke, and that we shouldn't have this kind of censorship. And so he joked at the end of that conversation that, he might just need to buy Twitter. And of course, we interpreted it as, yeah, haha, that's great. Way to make us feel like there is hope, but we don't really believe you. You must be kidding, right? So when it actually became clear that he was making moves to acquire the platform, we were, of course, just, cheering as loud as we could from the sidelines, like, please let this go through. Because we knew that if he took over the platform, he would unlock us.
So how long after Elon Musk took over Twitter, you were freed?
He wanted to do it on day one. So day one, he walked into Twitter with that sink in his hands, let that sink in, that famous moment. And in the first thing he did, he messaged me and he said, "Do you want the bee restored? There will be no censorship of humor." And so that was day one as CEO. He sent me that message. However, he did get a lot of pushback internally. So he was almost like a little bit prematurely reaching out to me personally before he had actually gone and talked to the people about like,
I
go
love
set the
that
bee
about
free.
him, by the way. It's like the perfect CEO that forgets that there is an HR department,
doesn't care about
processes.
Yeah, exactly.
So ideal.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm just doing this. This is what I want to do. It's my company now.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I want. I'm bringing back the Babylon Bee. And then he sat down, like I think the Washington Post did a write up on it. He was sitting down with like the trust and safety team, and they were telling him, look, you can't do that. You can't just break the rules. Change the rules first. If you want to have different rules, change them and then go through that process. But like if you make an exception for the Babylon Bee, then it's like, why? Then everybody else will question why you're not making an exception for them. It creates problems.
Yeah.
You have to go through procedures. And so it was like, all right, he's not unlocking us yet. What's going on? And he said, just give me time because I got to work through some of these things. So it was a process that he went through where eventually, though, he got fed up with it and just said, I'm bringing back, I think it was the Babylon Bee, Jordan Peterson, and Kathy Griffin. Those three randomly, all on the same day.
It's a nice little balance.
Yeah. Yeah. And then from that point forward, it was like every week, what was he calling it? Like Forgiveness Fridays or something like that? No, it was something like that. He made up some phrase for like when he would pardon people. And like every week he was like pardoning new accounts and unlocking these accounts. And so, but it was probably about a month or two after he took over that he actually did unlock the bee. And then we tweeted, we're back, let that sink in.